The widow of an American killed in a terror attack in Jordan is suing Twitter. Tamara Fields is accusing the social network of giving a platform to Islamic State to spread extremist propaganda.
Lawyer Joshua Arison is representing Tamara Fields. He joined us earlier via webcam from New York.
For years, Twitter has knowingly permitted ISIS to use its social network as a tool for spreading extremist propaganda and for raising funds and attracting new recruits. And the role of Twitter in the rise of ISIS really can't be overstated. I think it's fair to say that without Twitter, ISIS's dramatic emergence over the last few years into one of the most feared terrorist groups in the world would not have been possible. And, Twitter has not been an innocent bystander in all of this. It is long known that ISIS has been using its social network to terrorize, but it has taken little action. And so for years, the White House and Congress and the FBI and politicians like Hillary Clinton have all been urging Twitter to do more to prevent ISIS from using its social network. But Twitter has largely refused to act. And to this day, if you go onto Twitter, it's easy to find ISIS-themed accounts and tweets and hashtags. And Twitter even permits terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah to have official accounts on its network. And we think it's shameful that an American company like Twitter would knowingly provide this kind of support to terrorist groups like ISIS and groups that openly seek to kill U.S. citizens and other innocent civilians. And my client, Tamara Fields, the widow of Carl Fields, who was killed by an ISIS operative a few months ago, has bravely stood up and said, enough, this kind of behavior is not acceptable and Twitter needs to be held accountable.
So you're saying because Twitter knowingly let the terror groups use its network, in effect supporting terrorism, that it is in part responsible for your client's husband's death. But is there a legal precedent for this type of action?
The anti-terrorism Act has been used in a number of different situations. It hasn't been used against social networks before, so this would be a first. But under that law, if you provide material support to a terrorist organization and do so knowingly, you are liable for the acts of terrorism that they carry out. And in this case, Twitter has knowingly given access to its social network to ISIS, and so it needs to be held responsible.
Well, Twitter says that this lawsuit is without merit and that its rules make it clear that the promotion of terrorism deserves no place on its platform. Do you think you're going to have a hard time prosecuting this case?
No, we're confident about this case moving forward, and we believe the facts and the law are on our side.
Do you expect that this will possibly lead to more calls for other social media companies to take down possibly posts that do promote terrorism?
I hope so. I think it's a shame that these companies like Twitter allow terrorists to proliferate on their websites. And one of our goals is that they're going to take more action to stop them.
So what sort of damages are you seeking, and what would you actually like to see after this case is finished in terms of law reform?
Well, we haven't specified an amount of damages at this point, but our goals are to hold Twitter accountable for providing material support to ISIS, to get compensation to Ms. Fields for the terrible loss that she sustained, and hopefully to get Twitter and other companies to do more to block ISIS and other terrorists from using their social networks in the future.
So currently in the US, there are no uniform guidelines for dealing with requests to take down this type of material?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And that's what you'd like to see?
We'd like to see more rigorous policies, whether they're implemented through law or voluntarily by these companies. I'm not sure it matters.
So where does this case go from here? What is the timeline of this action?
Well, unfortunately, litigation in the United States does not move very quickly. So we suspect there'll be a motion to dismiss shortly. And if we get past that, we'll be into discovery, and then we'll be trying to get to trial as quickly as possible.
That's lawyer Joshua Arison speaking to me a little bit earlier from New York about his action against Twitter.